you can pretty much do anything you want to do. It's just whether you actually want to. So some people come to me and say, what should my goal be? I'm like, I don't know, it's not my goal, it's you. What do you want? And I'm like, I can help facilitate you to get to that, but let's break it down. Let's see what we can do to make it realistic and tangible. Because like you were saying, like living in monk mode, most people don't want that. They don't want to ruin the quality of their life just to look like they've got abs. But for what? For a picture for Instagram, for on the beach. Yeah, people will feel good about themselves, and like, and people might get compliments. But I'm like, do you want to go all day feeling you got no energy, not sleeping, feeling like a zombie? I've been there like yourself, and yeah, it's not fun. Like there's no joy in coming from like you're just walking around and like someone's talking to you and you're like, what? Sorry, what? Well, I think most people think that's what you need to do to look like that, or to look good, or to feel fit. You have to give up all foods. You can't have any sauces. You have to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. The old bodybuilding, what's it saying, so to speak. But yeah, people think that you have to do that. Like when I speak to people like, oh, I'm going on a diet. What are you having? And they tell me what they're having. They're like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. How's that going for you? They're like, yeah, no, it's okay. And I'm like, are you enjoying it? No, I hate it. So why are you doing it exactly?
It is definitely the image that has been created for most people of you basically have the super bland diet. You cut out all these things and you become this very sort of strict, rigid person that follows this very strict, rigid routine, which nobody does, by the way. Like I used to train people for bodybuilding shows, and I trained like quite a large number and large variety of individuals, and I came across like two people during like the 5 years that I did it, that if you gave them an exact plan, they wouldn't veer from it once, and they were like just constantly stuck on that thing. And until you told them to change something, they wouldn't change anything. Every single other person would remix the plan somehow, or it wasn't sustainable for them to stick to it in a very difficult way. And that was me. I was a flexible individual, so I wasn't even the person giving them
I
the.
was the opposite. I've worked with like different coaches for different things in the past. They give me a plan, stick to it. Don't veer, nothing to the gram. That's me as a person.
You were one of those individuals for sure, right? And so, but that's very uncommon.
Yeah.
It's arguably very autistic.
Probably are.
I certainly identify as somebody on the spectrum, and one of the reasons why I'm able to do things like that is because I will take everything very literally, and I'm very number focused, and I'm like, right, this has to happen in this very specific way, otherwise I'm gonna like completely lose myself, right? Whereas most people aren't like that, and then not projecting who I was and my approach onto others, kind of being like, okay, you're going to color outside of the lines quite often. I'm not going to give you a hard time about that. And, reducing the quality of their life is increasing their stress. And if their stress goes up, their ability to adhere to healthy behaviors goes down. So we're actually being counterproductive, not giving them a hard time for some of the choices that they make that work against their goal, employing compassion, and that's actually evidence-based, that it works better when you employ compassion towards somebody than when you give them the harsh truth. And I observe many, many, many trainers in our industry, not just online, but with their clients, because they are frustrated and they are really passionate and they do want to get the goal. And they're constantly telling their clients off for, their behaviors and the weekends and not sticking to the plan. And for those individuals, it's like, if you can just relax a little bit, pull back, let your client make all those like mistakes, what you'll find is over time, they as a human will naturally course correct themselves.
Yeah.
You just needed to be patient. But the more you go in and more you apply pressure, the less likely that is to happen. And it's a really, really curious and interesting human behavior trait that I've observed.
It kind of goes back, like if you start putting in labeling stuff good and bad, so you say something, oh, that's very bad, you should never do that. It's like a child. It's bad, don't do it, don't do it. Either they're going to want to do it more, or they're just going to have that idea in their head of, oh my God, that PT told me that's really bad. I've had some people come to me now and say, oh, my PT said this from like 5 years ago. This is really bad. I should never do it. And I'm like, what, eating fruit is bad for you? And they're like, yeah, you should never eat fruit in first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Or as an example, I'm like, okay, where did they get that from? Like, oh no, they told me that's it. I never do it now. Or like somebody, I think they had the same breakfast every day for like 6 years because the PT told them some like wacky story about it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna berate them or laugh at them. I'm like, oh, cool. So let's try something different. Let's see what happens. Let's figure out. Let's see, try a different breakfast. See if anything changes in your body, or you feel any less energetic, or you feel better, or you feel fuller. Well, again, try different things, and oh wow, nothing changed. What a surprise! But then people have this idea and keep it and stick to it. You'll tell them something once, and if they really trust you or believe you, or like they think you're an authority figure, they'll listen to it. They're like, yeah, but my PT told me this 10 years ago or 5 years, whatever it may be. And they're like, I'm like, cool. Oh, my PT said I should never squat this way, or I should never do this, or I should never do that. Or I saw this online, and I'm like, okay, cool. So there's a lot of like so much information that sometimes you just get like, I get people that come to me and say, okay, X, Y, Z, and ask me questions, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's not inherently wrong or inherently bad or inherently good, but let's think about different ways of approaching this
I
conversation.
think it's important to try and move away from absolute statements. I am tremendously guilty of absolute statements, and there's people that I would have at some point in time said not necessarily the fruit thing, but something along those lines, or like within an exercise to never do it that way. And I have had people come back up to me like years later, like yeah, like I remember you told me, so I never do it. And I'm just there like, oh, forget what I just told you. I'm really sorry, because that was my understanding at the time. My understanding is involved, and even those people that are telling you, oh, my PT told me 5 years ago, probably that PT has changed their stance on the fruit thing, but the damage is done.
So many do. Like I remember, I'll be like, oh yeah, no, I can't have any carbs because I'm not 9% body fat on my subscap, which is behind my shoulder blade. And like, okay, if I measure that and it's like 10.2, I can't have any carbs. I have to still keep dieting for it. Like when I'm not under 9%, then I can have carbs. Or if this measurement is here or that's there, or I'm like, and I look back, I'm like, I'd have to have like 40 BCA branch amino acid tablets in a session or I won't get the full effect of the protein spike. And I'm like, I look back and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? I spent so much money and so much time on absolute drivel. And I look back and I'm like, okay. But then you look, it's one of those things. Like I tell most of my clients, I've tried most diets and most approaches and most training plans and most things on myself. Again, me and you are very different. This may work for you, this may not work for me. So I've done years of guinea pigging stuff on myself to give you a bit more of an insight in terms of what may happen or what may occur. You may find a different approach based around your body type, whatever, your psychological makeup. But just to let you know, these are the side effects, or this is what might happen if you try this. If you really want to try it, by all means, go for it. I'm not going to stop you, but I can guarantee you X, Y, Z will happen. I've had some clients before. I think one client, she wanted to try an egg-only diet.
Oh,
Just eggs, nothing else. No eggs, no fruit, no veg, nothing. Just eggs 3 times a day. And I was like, okay, cool. She's like, do you have anything to say? I was like, no, try it, go for it. Also, she's like, are you sure? You're very adamant you want to try it. By all means, go try it. 2 days in, she came to me on I think it was Monday, Wednesday, we were training. She came to me, was like, I hate this diet. Why didn't you stop me? I told you this is going to probably happen, but you didn't listen to me. So I'm like, you tried it. Did you like it? She was like, no, I hate it. I'm miserable. I'm cranky. And I was like, cool. So let's try something different. Let's figure out a plan that will work for you. So this next time, probably don't listen to stuff on social media. It may not work. So again, I've tried different approaches with different people. And sometimes now I'm just like, you know what? If you really want to try it again, big one is intermittent fasting. If you want to really try intermittent fasting, try it. If it works for you, great. We can do things to make it a bit better and polish it up a little bit more so you feel better and your energy is better and you feel like you're making progress in the gym. But if you really, really want to do it and you saw, I don't know, my influencer said it's great, give it a go. Give it a couple of weeks, see how it works, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, then let's try a different approach. Let's sit down and maybe figure out something better.
yeah. I think deep down, like I'm thinking about one client in particular who she reminds me a lot of the stories that you've been talking about today. Even right now, sitting here today, she's currently like engaging in some sort of wild, um, I don't know, influencer diet that she's come across to do these little sachets that you drink or take, and she's sort of super into fasting and stuff like that. And she'll discuss these things with me, and I've given her my take on it, more than once. And I got to a point with her where I was just like letting her do stuff. And because I get so much more information from her about her lifestyle changes and her job, this, that, whatever, like I kind of know what's really going on relative to what she's actually registering is going on. And what tends to happen is you've just got somebody who's stopped doing a bunch of unhealthy things, has started doing a bunch of healthy things. And the sort of veil on top of that is this nutritional approach that they've discovered. But underlying is they inadvertently switched from like more, let's say, less nutrient dense foods to more nutrient dense foods in the window that they're eating, or they're engaging with being more active, or they've reduced the amount. Basically, they became more health conscious and they started making more health conscious decisions, and then they attribute their feelings of wellness to this method that they took. And that used to really, really bother me back in the day, because I'm like, I know what's really going on, and you think it's this. Now I'm just like, the only thing that matters is that you're feeling better and you're engaging in more health conscious behaviors. And then given that person a long enough time span, they will eventually acknowledge that as well. And that gave me a lot of confidence to realize if I'm just patient and all I do is monitor, how are you feeling? How is that going? Yeah, it's great. I lost 2 kilos. I feel like this, that. Awesome. Wonderful. They are not idiots most of the time. They're just having a moment.
Yeah.
And if you can just be patient with them, they'll eventually acknowledge for themselves, like, yeah, I was also drinking less. I stopped smoking for a while. I was being more active. I made a bit more of an effort to get to bed, and there was less stress going on at work. I was making a bit more of an effort to eat this, more nutrient dense foods. Eventually and I've gone through this same process myself. Like subjectively, we struggle to sometimes acknowledge when we're working against ourselves and when we're doing things well. I've fallen down these sort of like rabbit holes of trying to be hyper specific or look for like these very technical solutions to things of, mate, you just need to get to bed earlier, or you just haven't been drinking enough water.
Having this supplement or this for the headache, I'm doing this. And like, even when I was like, 24, 25, 26, very like hyper focused towards, I have to have this much protein, I have to train this much, I have to do this, I can't go out, I can't go. I was like, I had loads of friends who could be social, but like, they go like, oh, we're going out now to a club or a bar. And I can't go. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I need to go home, I've got a client tomorrow. But in my head, oh God, calories, drink, oh my God, I can't have that, oh my God, it's gonna defer me from my plan, oh, I can't do it. Now I'm like, I go out probably every weekend with friends. If I want to drink, I'll have one drink, I can stop. If I don't want to drink, I won't drink. I can just easily be like, before it would literally be in my head, it'd be some weird complex, and I'd be like, no, I can't do that. Oh my God, I can't. Oh my God, there's a meal there. Oh, I can't eat food. And like you learn over time, you kind of change the way you're thinking about stuff and the way you train people or you train yourself, and you try different things. Before it'd be like, even with cardio, oh my God, I can't do too much cardio. I'm gonna lose all my gains and I'm not gonna have any muscle and I'm gonna get weaker in the gym. In hindsight, you look back and I was like, yeah, what was I doing there? That's a bit stupid of me. But it's an ever changing cycle, even with training and like talking to clients and just communicating with different people. Like as a PT, you should evolve rather than just be stuck on one thing. I've seen some PT just stuck on one thing. They don't change, they don't differ. This is the only way to do it. Just look who you're talking to and have a conversation with the person rather than say, you have to do this, you have to train like this, you have to do that, you have to count your macros. Some might get to a point where they feel comfortable to count the macros. They might do it for 1 day, 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it may be. But it takes time, and you have to look at that person and discover, are they able to do it? Would they be willing to do it? And does it ultimately fit their lifestyle? Because I train people in like fashion and entertainment. For them, their initial goal always is to be skinny, to look skinny, to feel small, to look small, to fit into clothes. Because a lot of fashion brands and houses, their clothes are tiny. I've tried to fit into some and I'm just like, who is wearing this? And it's like an extra large, and I'm like, I'm about to repent this. But for them, they don't care about the means to get to that. I want to be skinny. They just want to be skinny. Yeah. So my goal is to try and give them bits and bobs where they can be like, okay, just make sure you're having this, make sure you're having that. Because if we do too much volume in the gym on a certain body part, or if we get them to eat a bit more, they will feel slightly different. They may get a little bit more muscle tone. They're like, no, I'm too big. I need to lose weight. I can't do this anymore. I need to stop. I need to change. I need to eat 1 meal a day. But it just, again, you have to manage the client to, ultimately for me, is to get them healthier, fitter, stronger, but to try and break the mold of things they've got in their head. Because if I told them, you're wrong, this is stupid, this is bad, don't do this, barrier blocked off, no one listen to me anymore. And I'll probably lose that client down the line.
That is exactly what happens.
Yeah.